Hi everyone, and welcome to Module 5, Coming to Focus. So in this module, we're going to look at a tool of meditation to bring our awareness from outside of ourselves and just starting to come within, finding joy, stillness, peace within our own selves. But I wanted to first share before we practice a really profound experience I had. It was early on in my career as a nurse and also as a meditator. I was working at a VA hospital in their inpatient psychiatric unit. And, in that experience, talking with a lot of patients, many of them had symptoms of PTSD, bipolar disorder, substance abuse. And this one particular patient, he shared with me that his mind, his thoughts for the last 20 years had just been over and over again repeating to himself, "I'm a monster." And I was so taken back by that feeling of a blame that he had put on himself, and that negativity, and how that would just eat away at someone's spirit and joy. And I was also going through a very difficult time, and I began to meditate and developed this practice, and I had a lessons in meditation book that I began to do these exercises, and I would bring them to the hospital with me, and we would work together with some of the patients practicing these tools. And just one day, this particular gentleman, we were maybe meditating about 5-10 minutes, and he just, all of a sudden, I could just feel joy coming from him. And he just really quietly looked at me and he said, "The voice in my head has been quiet. I don't hear it anymore. I just feel peace." And in that moment, I could feel the transformation that had happened within himself. And I had so much hope and inspiration, and I could see that these tools, yes, they're simple, but they're so powerful to transform our lives. And it inspired me to continue my own practice, but also to share with others. And when we meditate, when we find this stillness, we begin to see that we are divine love, that we're wisdom, power, calmness. These are divine realities, and that's who we truly are. And when we come to focus, we can begin to experience those things, our soul reality, not the outward definitions, our job, personality, our accomplishments or faults. We aren't these things. So, many people often ask, why do we meditate? And, I tell people I think it's one of the best tools that we have to counter the brain's negativity, to let go of stress, to foster positive experiences and intentions. And we begin to find peace, being in the present moment. Mindfulness is such a, research has shown so much benefits of mindfulness, being present, coming to focus, and it's powerful. It changes your consciousness. It allows you to be non-reactive. It allows you to feel better and more joy. And I wanted to share, a lot of the research in meditation is really focusing on two aspects of the brain. We have our prefrontal cortex, the area behind the forehead, and then we also have the limbic system, which is located deep inside the brain. And when we meditate, there's scans, there's research showing that we see less activity in that limbic system, that survival, primitive fight or flight mode, where we feel emotions of fear, aggression. But we see a lot more activity up here, our prefrontal lobes. And that part of the brain is associated, as we know, with concentration, creativity, joy, being able to have compassion for others. And so when we're meditating, we have our eyes closed, but we're just gazing gently upward at this point between the eyebrows. We're lifting our awareness, our energy, to come into focus to these higher aspects of ourselves, this higher level of awareness, of functioning. And we begin to tune in to these higher levels of reality. And so, as we meditate, we're starting to still the body, still the mind, and bringing our energy, our awareness from outside of ourselves and bringing it to our center. And how we do that is we begin to focus on the breath. We use the breath as a focal point of our concentration because it's within us. And it also has a unique relationship with the mind. We can think of a time where we've been stressed or maybe angry, and we find that our breath is really shallow, it's tense, our respiratory rate's high. But on the contrary, when we think of a time that we're relaxed, maybe we're sitting on the beach, or we've just woken up, the breath is slow, deep, diaphragmatic breathing, and there's no tension. So as we begin to bring our awareness to that breath, it naturally will start to slow down. And as the breath slows, the mind will follow. And that's, really when we begin to experience the benefits of meditation. When we can find this stillness, this slowing down of the body, of the mind, and just coming into our own center, into this place of stillness. And, I'd like to just add, as we focus on the breath, we'll do a technique of watching the breath. We'll also add a mantra. And this mantra is a word or a few words that has power to help us transform our consciousness. So in this particular practice we'll do together, we'll use the mantra stillness to affirm our higher truth of our own being, that we are the stillness, and we are the peace and the joy and the clarity and wisdom that comes when we come to a place of stillness. So let's now take about 10 minutes and just follow a guided practice. So what we want to do is just find a comfortable seated position. It's really important when we're trying to meditate that we're able to be comfortable physically. It's really difficult to relax the mind when our body is physically tense. So I won't go too much detail on how to sit comfortably, but in this module there's a separate video that you can watch with different techniques and seating positions to find a really comfortable position for you. But for today, whether you're sitting on the floor or sitting in a chair, you just want to make sure that your alignment is upright, the spine is nice and tall and straight. You can bring the shoulder blades together slightly, feel that opening of the chest, and keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. We don't want them up here holding on to tension, just letting them go. And then just resting your palms, your hands, palms facing upward on your thighs. Just coming into a comfortable position. And so to help us relax, releasing some tension from the body, we're going to do the double tensing and relaxing with double breath. So as a reminder, we're going to inhale through the nose for a count of 2. And as we inhale, really hold energy. You can hold the hands, palms together, really building energy, tension in the body. And then we'll take a double breath through the mouth, letting all the tension go. And on that second breath, the second exhalation, you can just really exhale, prolong it a little bit, and just feel that you're letting everything go. All mental, all physical tension, letting it go. So let's just practice that 3 times. So inhale through the nose, hold, vibrate the body with tension, and exhale. Again, inhale, and exhale. And once more, inhale, and exhale. Letting all tension disappear. And let's now gently close our eyes. But behind closed eyelids, let's just lift our gaze slightly, bringing our awareness to the point between the eyebrows. And let's practice equal count breathing. To do this, we're going to inhale through the nose for a count of 4. And then we'll hold the breath without tension, but just holding it for a count of 4. And then exhaling through the nose for a count of 4. So let's practice that for a few breaths. Inhale, 4. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. So now, let's just begin to bring our awareness to the breath without trying to control it in any way. Just observe as it comes in and out through the nose. Wherever in the nose that we feel the breath flowing in and out, just begin to bring your focus to this place. and just watch the movement. We can imagine here that we're sitting on the beach, watching the waves coming in and out. Sometimes they come a little faster, and other times a little slower. But we can't control the waves. We're just simply an observer of the movement. So just become an observer of your own breath. We'll add our mantra. As we inhale, mentally repeat to yourself, still. And as you exhale, mentally repeat, ness. Stillness. Stillness. With each breath, feel that you are affirming that you are the stillness. You are the peace and the joy that is found when we're still. And to help us further interiorize our mind, we're just going to gently curl the right index finger towards the palm with each inhalation. And as we exhale, letting the forefinger come back to rest. So let's practice this technique, watching the breath, using your mantra stillness, and moving the right forefinger in and out. We'll practice for a few moments. And if at any point your mind begins to wander, without any judgment, just come back to your breath, back to your mantra. And as you become more and more into focus, you might notice the breath beginning to slow down. Enjoy the slowing. And if at any point there's natural pauses between the breaths, just enjoy that stillness for a moment. The breath will come back when it needs to. So let's practice for a few more moments. in this stillness. We'll end our practice today with a triple exhalation. So taking one deep inhalation and then exhale 3 times through the mouth. Letting the breath go. Letting go of the mantra, the movement of the forefinger. And just bring your awareness up again to the point between the eyebrows. Just bringing awareness to anything that you may be feeling. Maybe it's peace, calmness, joy, love. Whatever aspect, quality that you feel, just absorb yourself completely in that feeling. Feel that every part of your body, every body cell is becoming this peace, joy, or love. And let's feel that as we come out of our meditation, let's see if we can hold on to this feeling, that we can relate to others, enter into situations, radiating these qualities of joy, of peace, of love. Where nothing or no one can diminish these. Om, peace. Amen. And so gently you can begin to open your eyes, coming back into the room. And again, I just would like to thank you for participating in this course. And in this particular module, I have several other resources that can help you develop a meditation practice, some tools and tips to creating a practice, as well as how to sit comfortably. And there's also a meditation app that I have shared that is extremely helpful. It can give you guided meditations so that you can practice with guided visualizations and affirmations and this technique that I've shared with you today. So I hope that these give you inspiration and enjoy coming to this focus and to your center. And I hope that you find that within that place there's a lot of joy, a lot of peace, and a lot of inspiration. Thank you guys.